Hey guys, welcome back to Sip Society, the Sober Diaries, more specifically, Sober Socials. This is my first Sober Socials episode where I'm going to have a guest, and that is my dear friend Isaiah. So, welcome, Isaiah. Hey, Isaiah, how are ya?
Hey, hello. Good to see you again.
Thank you for being here. You're my
This is the
guest.
first time. Yeah.
Yeah, so we know each other from the horror community.
Yep.
We are both YouTubers actually in the horror community. And we've collabed many times.
Yes.
Many times. How long have we been friends for? Like at least 2 years.
I have no idea. I think it's been at least 2 years, but probably longer at this point.
Yeah. So before we start, I still want people to like plug their accounts, even if you're from a different community and not the sober community, right? Like you are part of the sober community, but plug your account. So if there's any horror fans, they know where to find you.
Yes, exactly. No, I don't make any, sober related content, even though I do live my life in that way. But yes, in terms of YouTube, you can find me at the Bitter Wolf Horror and Hijinks on YouTube. And on that channel, I have interviews with filmmakers. I invite other content creators from YouTube or other channels like Instagram or anywhere else in the horror community. We come on and have different panels and talk about horror movies. And then I have my project, The Horror Mosaic, where we're profiling filmmakers, writers, musicians, actors, content creators, anybody in the horror community. So all of those projects are there, and at my website realbitterwolf.com, where I write sometimes from the Bitter Wolf's character about different movies, and then I also have guest writers who are writing about movies, and now I'm publishing fiction as well. So if you want to contribute that, you can send me a message or anything like that. So check it out if you have an interest in horror.
Love it. You are just known as the Bitter Wolf in that community. Like, I very rarely even say your name, Isaiah. So this is such a switch. I'll be like, oh, we're recording with the Bitter Wolf. And people
That's
just
true.
know who I'm talking about.
That's right. But now, so I'm trying to do that now. I'm trying to separate myself from him in more ways than one. And so soon that will become a reality, which I'm real excited about. But so now I've started introducing myself as the spokeshuman of the Bitter Wolf. So the Bitter Wolf exists, and I exist too. We'll talk about all of that later.
Living in the same world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny, I've met a lot of people in the horror community that are sober, and it's really cool. Like, I just keep discovering more and more people throughout the years, and I'm like, we'll just be talking horror movies, and then I'm like, wait a minute, you're sober? And then like we just start talking about it, and then it's like, oh, I got another sober friend. So it's really cool how I don't know, there's a lot of us out there.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason for that too. It's we don't have to get into that, but I think since it's a genre where we have to face our fears all the time. I think whenever you are sober, at least from alcohol, I think that it really forces you to face things that you couldn't face before.
I love that. I was actually thinking about that too. So my channel is called Sip Society because even though I'm sober, I'm always sipping on something, whether it be water, coffee, Diet Coke, sparkling water, mocktails, whatever, you name it. Do mocktails trigger you? And yeah, that'll be my first question. Do mocktails trigger you, or non-alcoholic beverages?
Ooh, I love this question because I'm 2 weeks away, just a little under 2 weeks away from hitting my 2-year sober mark.
Yes, that was supposed to be my first question. I'm sorry. This is my first guess.
This
When's your sober date?
Oh, yes. August the 12th. 2023. Yeah, I forgot what year it is. I have to look at the calendar. But yeah. It's been 2 years, almost 2 years. So
love it.
And we have to congratulate you on your 1 year, which you just had yesterday.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
I waited to get to 1 year before I had a guest on, so I felt a little more qualified.
Oh, please.
But congrats to you.
Oh, thank you so much. And in terms of mocktails, it's funny you brought that up because I literally hadn't had a single one until about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, no
Um,
way.
yes, I don't know why. I think maybe because I was worried about the possibility of a triggering effect. But I came back to a city where I used to do a lot of drinking and a lot of partying. And I was like, I am going to go to a bar and order a mocktail and see how it goes. And because if I could finally face this maybe it's a fear I didn't know. Then I could go out and do more socializing in environments like that, because I don't feel a compulsion to drink alcohol whatsoever. So whenever I went there, I was real worried about it, but I had a great time and I loved it, and I'll definitely be having more mocktails from here on out.
Yay. What did you have?
I can't remember what it was called or
That's
anything.
okay.
I don't even remember what was in it, to be honest with you. Which makes it sound like it had alcohol in it. But no, it was like
Can't
it was a
remember.
true. I was with a friend of mine who I hadn't seen since I graduated college. So I was more focused on that, and it was some fruity concoction that was delicious.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I was unsure about like I don't know, but like I love NA drinks and mocktails, and they have like helped me throughout my journey. But there's some people that can't have them because they'll get triggered, and I totally understand both sides.
Sure.
So I just want to be cautious when I talk about it with people.
Yeah,
But
I understand. No,
um,
it's real. It was exciting for me because I think I was a little bit of reclusive for these first 2 years in terms of going out and socializing, and then I was just like super busy with creative stuff and then work and things, and exploring nature and having my dog and just trying to stay busy so that I could not think about it, you know. And so
mhm.
yeah, I think I'm real excited that'll just open up a way for me to just relax without having to stress out about it.
Yeah, I'm happy for you that now you feel confident to like get back out there and socialize in a setting that would typically have drinks, and you can still choose a beverage that is not going to make you relapse, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And on top of it, my friend was having one of my old favorite drinks too. And so it was right there up in my face, the smells coming through and everything. And I didn't even think about it, to be honest with you. So
Nothing, eh?
it was great. No, not even like I mean, it was like, that smells good, but there was no, I need that or I want that or anything, which is
That's
fantastic.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That must be such a good feeling.
Yeah.
I I like I feel like I always say I can't get triggered by mocktails because if I did, I'd be triggered by Diet Coke because my drink of choice was always rum and diet, and I drink
Oh,
Diet
okay.
Coke every night still.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
sometimes I joke I was addicted to the Diet Coke and not the rum, but that's not actually the case. Definitely not the case. Um,
Right.
but we like to treat ourselves in sobriety. At least I know I did. Before you had this mocktail and realized you could drink them, did you have like a sober treat that you liked to like indulge in or whatever, even in early sobriety?
Oh, hell yes. I mean, it was nothing but indulgence. I was like, fuck them. Oh, sorry. Can I say that?
You can say whatever you
Okay.
want.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. No, I was like, this is going to be so hard because on top of it, I was quitting smoking cigarettes too. And that addiction was much stronger and much more present in my life than alcohol was.
Okay.
Which is saying something. So it was like at the same time, I was like, just go for it. And that was also around the same time I entered into the horror community. So everyone's support there has been, I couldn't have done it without that. Absolutely couldn't have done it without that. So, but in the early days, I couldn't have done it without ice cream. Uh,
Yes.
chips, but ice cream became a thing. And to be honest with you, like I liked ice cream my whole life, but I never really sought it out. And I went like I went like 10 years where I barely touched ice cream at all. And then the second I was done with it, I was like, oh, no fucking way. And then I have to just stuff my face with everything I can get. But I was like, if this is what it takes, then I'll put my face into every single pint I can find. And I did. And I still do.
I feel like a lot of people's answer is ice cream when I ask them. I know it was mine too. In my first month, I ate so much ice cream, and I went to Dairy Queen and I cried in my ice cream bowl. And it's the reason I had an ice cream cake for my 1 year.
Oh yeah, thank you, Brendan. That's great. That's great. I love that. What'd you get at Dairy Queen?
I changed it up a couple times. I would get sometimes strawberry cheesecake blizzard, I think it was, and then I would switch to it was like a brownie sundae, which was so good. That's so good.
Yeah, that's great.
What kind of ice cream did you eat?
I love all kinds of ice cream, but it would be anything with really big chunks of chocolate with a vanilla base. That was like my favorite. Lots of caramel. Yeah, that type of thing. I love banana pudding ice cream, and I can't remember. There was like banana pudding ice cream, and then there was Nestle Toll House chocolate chip or something. There's like very specific things
so
that
many
I would have on there. Yeah, it's overwhelming. But I got into, it depends on where I was grocery shopping too, because I was super broke at the time, because I was also in between jobs. So I was like, it was like all the things. Let's look for jobs, quit drinking, quit smoking. Part of that was out of financial necessity, and then it ended up working out. But go to the store and find out what they have. Buy one, get one free. And a lot of times it was Ben and Jerry's. So it was like, yes, I got so lucky because Ben and Jerry's is like more bang for your buck.
Yes. They have the half-baked one, right?
Oh, yeah. And I was fully baked, so it worked out. Yeah.
Yeah. That one's my favorite, with the cookie dough and the brownie in it. So good.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we got into some of the fun stuff. What was your why for quitting drinking, and what was your drinking like?
Ooh. Well, I think I thought that I was super functional with it. You know, I think I was lying to myself for many years. It started whenever I was 18, and then it went very solidly for 15 years. And then I stopped at 33. But it was not during the day, but it was a lot at night. Like I could go, I didn't have to sneak anything at work. I didn't have to have it in the morning. I could go the whole day. But at night, I was not about to sit there alone with my thoughts. And so I was like, I didn't know that at the time, right? But I knew I just couldn't sit there. And so whenever I discovered that I had a knack for, like, I'd go out to the bar and meet people, and we'd have like a great time, and then you don't have to think about anything serious. Then you just like have a blast. I was like, this is great. And I became addicted to that process. And it was the same reason that I started smoking. And so smoking cigarettes and drinking at the same time. And then those two snowball. Lots of people stop smoking cigarettes, but I was someone who, it just had to keep going. And so the cigarette and the alcohol became intrinsically linked, and it was like, you can't have a drop of alcohol without smoking 2 or 3 cigarettes. So it just spiraled like that. So I was pretty solid about going clubbing and things on the weekends, and there's other drugs involved there that started to take shape throughout the years. I never got super, like, I never developed a dependency on those, although they were fairly regular throughout my 20s, I would say. But the drinking would only get worse, and, you know, masking depression and all kinds of things. And yeah, it just made me not able to do the things I wanted to do. And it also allowed me to make a lot of excuses. And so I couldn't just do that on the weekends. I couldn't hide it on the weekends anymore, because then during the week I had to face those things that I was trying to hide on the weekends. So that means I had to do it during the week too. So then it became after work, go straight to the bar, stumbling home. And then it just spirals. And before you know it, it's like you've wasted whole years on that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it was for me. So I was functional to some degree, because I had some really strong friendships and great jobs, but I also destroyed friendships and things like that. So I thought I was functional, but I was not, in other words.
Okay. We have a lot of similarities, actually. That was that's pretty wild.
Yeah, oh, really?
Yeah, like because I was kind of the same, like functional, right? Like I held a job and whatnot, and it was more of a nighttime thing, but it was every night. And then the
Yep.
the other drugs on the weekends in your 20s and stuff like that. So interesting.
Yep.
Was alcohol present in your childhood, or were there any influences when you were growing up?
No, that's real interesting too. I've thought about that before, because I'm not the only person in my family who's struggled with alcohol addiction.
Okay.
But I won't mention who they are or anything like that. But not my parents, and not their parents either. So it's really fascinating to me. And I think that the alcohol is a result of childhood things that I don't really want to get into either today.
That's okay. You don't have to say anything you don't want to say.
Yes. But I think that those developed as a coping mechanism because other ways of coping were not developed. They were neither taught nor developed. We'll put it that way. So whenever you have to figure those things out for yourself, then it takes you a lot longer. And so I think, and then you throw alcohol is like, oh, it's a way to immediately feel better without addressing it, partly because you don't know how to address it, and then also because you're too scared to. So, those things can just spiral out of control. That's why everyone needs to go to therapy. I always say.
Tell me about it. When did you start therapy?
I did it in college. Whenever I was forced to in college because of alcohol related things that I got in trouble for in college, which was like one time I got a citation or something because I was so drunk and I was underage at the time. So I was under 21 at the time. So yeah, so I had to get in trouble for that. So. It was just all that happened literally was I drank way too much and I threw up all over the dorms. So yeah, nice. which is really gross and stupid, but and of course I deserved a citation. But it was a blessing in disguise because I got to meet a wonderful the first therapist was like an intern who also was my study abroad advisor. And I was like, is this not a conflict of interest? And they're like, hey, we're trying to save money. Welcome to America, Sam. So
oh my
anyway,
gosh.
I got a different therapist after that, and she was super cool. And I met with her a couple of years, and we didn't cover everything, but that's only whatever I was willing to share with her at the time, and that was great. But after that, healthcare in America, including mental health care, is not widely accessible. And so as someone who did not have jobs that had healthcare like that until much later in life, then it took me a long time to be able to get that type of thing. But then whenever I did, it was during the pandemic, and then it had to be online type stuff. So
Yeah.
it's helpful in that sense, but I definitely prefer the in-person interaction.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you remember like the last night you drank, I guess, or did you have like a rock bottom that made you decide like I need to stop?
So in the end, I was actually, I would say in the last 2 years, it took me about 2 years before I decided to stop. So I kind of winnowed it down actually, and I was doing other things whenever I started getting into the horror community and getting into doing the Bitter Wolf stuff, because finally I was doing stuff and I wasn't just sitting around wishing and dreaming about it, knowing I wasn't going to do it anyway. So whenever I was able to do that, then I was drinking less, but I was still really hardcore binge drinking on nights whenever I was drinking. So it wasn't every night anymore, but it was like 3 or 4 nights, and I was, so of course if things got really bad, I would have just gone straight back. And so there was one night, I wouldn't call it my rock bottom with drinking. I think that happened years ago, but I would say that it was like the worst I felt physically. And it was the first time I realized it's like it's making you feel way too old for your age. And it's like, but why are you doing this? Because it's like you're just sitting here puking your guts out, and you're like, and your thought, what are you thinking as this is happening? I'd rather be dead right now than puking. That's crazy to think. So so I was like, whatever I thought that, I was like, okay, it's not fun anymore. It's isolating. It's unhealthy. It's making you think crazy thoughts and depression, and just like you never going to achieve the things that you want. So I just started downloading these apps. That maybe I think we'll talk about that. But one of the things on there was like, why are you doing this or whatever? And it was like, I want to see my niece get older and have like a good influence from her uncle and not a bad one, and I want to be able to be there, because like I was spending all my money on booze. And so it's like you have to stay wherever you are, so you'll miss out on seeing her at all if you don't have any money and you can't pay off your debts. I want to pay off my debts. That was on there. I want to do creative things again and live a creative life. That was on there. So all these things. And yeah, that was it.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to, be creative and show up for people when you're constantly hungover and feeling like trash. So makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Absolutely. And the only time I threw up again because I was like, I'm never going to throw up again in my life. So the only time I threw up after that was when I had the horrible norovirus last year, when it was going around the whole city. So that was out of my control, but I actually liked it because I was like, hey, I didn't do this to myself.
I liked it. I am very blessed. I had a stomach of steel, so there was not a lot of vomiting in my past.
Oh, nice. Blessing and a curse, I guess.
Yeah. I was invincible.
So on this show, this is your first show. On this show, are you going to be sharing about your things too? Because I was curious about what yours was. What was the night when you thought about it?
When I decided?
Yeah.
Oh man. I knew I wanted to get sober for probably 5 years. When I hit 30 was when it got serious. So like 2 years, I guess. There was 2 years of solid like desperation. But like there were many years before that where I knew I was an alcoholic. I just wasn't ready. I wanted to keep the party going, right? But yeah, my last 2 years, I was just the same, like functional to the point of keeping my job, working out, doing what I need to do, but so depressed and so anxious, the feelings of not wanting to be here anymore. And you can't live life like that. And when you hit your 30s, those hangovers hit you a lot harder.
Sure.
Oh boy.
Yeah, just I don't miss that. Yeah.
Just so sick and tired of being tired. Like you said, you feel so much older than you actually are. You're dragging yourself around, right?
Yeah, I had this knee pain, and it was like, man, this fucking sucks. What the hell? And so it was around the time the COVID started, and so I was like, all right, I've got to get it back out into nature again, because I really missed that. And I used to be super into the gym, and I really missed that. And so I started doing that again. And that got rid of all my knee pain and stuff, because I just started being active again. And so I did a little trick in my mind where I was like, ooh, yeah, I'll be way more active now. That means I can drink even more on the weekends. Yeah. And I can eat more shit. on the weekend. So that was literally what I thought. Like, it's the crazy lies you tell yourself. It's like, yeah, it's my treat. I deserve it.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, it's like, are you freaking insane? You're sitting there, you're doing like all these sets and things like that. 10 seconds later, smoking a cigarette. What? It's like you're gonna have a heart attack. I just can't believe the lies that I told myself.
Yeah, I get it, because I was very active. Like, I've always been really active, but like, yeah, working out. Meanwhile, I'm drinking and eating like crap and gaining lots of weight. So I get it. Another thing that I did that was really counteractive was I just think it's so funny. I was so worried about my skin aging that I would be laying in bed with my drink and like those eye patches under my eyes and just trying to hydrate my face while I'm chugging back around.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I wonder what could help with that. It's like
some water.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, you go back and look at pictures. I feel younger now at 35 than I did during any of my 20s. And I mean, not in every way, but in a lot of ways. Like, I just have more creative energy. Because like whenever I go to work, I just want to go drink afterwards, and I didn't have any creative energy left. And it was like, because of that, I would get more depressed. So I was trying to kill it by drinking even more. So this stuff is just a horrible spiral. Get out while you can. That's what I say.
It takes away all your ambition, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard.
What pathway did you take for recovery, I guess? Like, did you do meetings? Did you not? Did you listen to podcasts? Like, what did you do to start your journey?
No, I didn't do any of that, except I did listen to I didn't listen to any podcasts with regularity. I would listen to people sharing their stories every now and then. But I would pour myself into my creative projects, because that was the thing that kept me going during my youth whenever things would get bad. And that was the stuff that made me real excited about living my life. And so when I started getting it back, because I'd lost it for like over a decade, I didn't really make anything or do anything. And so when it started coming back, I was like, yes, I'm going to hold on to this and finally see where it takes me. And so and whenever I got that again, then all the other stuff, like all the things I wrote down on day one of that thing started happening. And it felt like magic, but it wasn't magic. It was just like finally taking accountability for your behavior, finally letting yourself feel pain, letting yourself feel fear, and letting yourself feel vulnerable. So all of these things were really important to me. And I would read stuff that, like I said, people's stories. I would talk to people who I knew in my life about this. I had a really close friend who quit drinking 3 years before I did, and she was one of my great inspirations. So I was like, if people if they share their stories, you never know who is going to listen to it and be inspired by it. And I think because I knew how bad it was for her, it was very similar to the stories that we shared about our experiences. And the fact that she was able to just like be done with it, I was like, and I said, how did you do it? She's like, well, the things I've got through are much harder than that. So I was like, okay, that's an interesting perspective. So I started thinking of it that way. And so I just really stumbled through my first few months emotionally, but I was like, if I could get through it, then we'll just keep stumbling through life, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so you got your creativity back, and like it gave you an excitement to live again. And you, like you said, listening to other people's stories, like what you're doing right now, you're sharing your story, and maybe someone's going to listen to this and then get inspired, right?
Yep. And just like I said, allowing yourself to feel vulnerable in life, I think, is very important. And I mean that like in every aspect of your life too. So yeah, just like and valuing yourself and valuing your relationships with others enough to not retreat into things that are easier but more harmful. So and it's just, you get a lot more out of life anyway by facing those things. So
yeah,
if you could do
awesome.
it, go for it.
What is the app that you downloaded?
I can't remember. Sober Sidekick was one.
I think that's the one you recommended to me.
Okay, yeah, Sober Sidekick was one. I Am Sober is the other. And I actually haven't used them in a while because I used to use them religiously because I think it was Sober Sidekick is the one that has a really good community on there of support. And so I would talk to people on there. You can post, you're required to post a picture whenever you post. It doesn't have to be of you, but it could be of anything. So I was posting like, this is where I am, which is somewhere in nature. You know, oh, I did the van life stuff. I still do the van life, but I'm camped out right now while I have this contract and while the weather is 1,000,000,000 degrees. But whenever I get back into van life, that was another thing, going back into nature, spending that time out there and just like figuring out how to exist completely by yourself for a while and without any other people around. And that's like the most isolating. So it's like, I think one of my ways of recovery has been like push myself to my most uncomfortable extremes. And like, for some reason, I think that helps me.
So because you're new to this channel, explain what you mean by van life. Like what do you mean by van life, right?
Yes. Well, I think that can mean different things to different people depending on their level of van life in it. But I have a van. It's a cargo van, and my father and I renovated it together back whenever the pandemic started. Because before that I was traveling abroad and I kind of wanted to stay in that lifestyle a bit, but then the pandemic started and I came back to the US and I was like, I have to figure out how I can still travel. And also I wanted to take my dog out west and take her to do a lot of hikes and things like that and go out and experience nature together. So we built that, and then I was just traveling around in that. And then I started freelancing and working. So I just brought my work with me wherever I went. And I've been doing that for the last 5 years. I was slowing down with my recent contract because my dog has had some medical things that she needed attending to now that she's getting to be an old lady. And I wanted her to have like a more stable environment where she could recover. And she is recovered, which is great. So we'll get back to it because I know she misses her mountains. And so do I.
Oh. Love that. I just wanted you to explain that because I know what you mean by van life. But
yes, and actually, a lot of people in van life they are also going through their sober journeys, and so that's another place that I can commiserate with people. A lot of them aren't, of course, and you run into lots of people at campsites boozing it up, which is totally fine by me because I'm like, like I said, I want these things to be in my face now. Because I want to be able to easily, but that's just for me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I'm trying to expose myself more, and sometimes it really freaking sucks. But sometimes I'm like, that wasn't so bad.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So what is one thing that you have accomplished in sobriety that you don't think you would have accomplished if you did not get sober?
Yeah, literally everything. I mean, all those things that I mentioned about that I wrote down, which was pay off. I haven't paid off my debt, of course. I still have student loan debts to pay off, but now I actually have a light at the end of the tunnel, and I have a plan, and I have ways to do these things, and I've already paid off lots of debts. In like. I could not believe the amount of money I was spending on drinking and on cigarettes and on all those extra things that you waste money on because of that. And so, I was like damn, once it was like to the tune of $15,000 I've saved in 2 years. And so I was like, I could spend that money on like so much better shit, like traveling, supporting my friends who are doing creative things. And so in the horror community, I try to donate to indie artists who are making exciting movies or something like that. I could do that now, and I can do things like bring my visions and my creative vision to life as well. So it's done that. It's given me energy to live my life again. It's given me, I think, the ability to be more focused and be more present and aware of what's going on in my life and my relationships with people and with my dog and with everything. So I think it's given me everything back.
I love it.
I can't think of one thing it hasn't. Yeah.
I'm trying to practice more like gratitude. So 3 things you're grateful for today.
Today specifically, I mean, I'm grateful for so many things. So it's hard to say. But I'm definitely grateful for my doggy Judy. Because I got in the year I got her, I think was probably one of my lowest points. And to magnify it, this is neither here nor there, but to magnify it, it was around the time that Mr. Trump was first elected to be president. So it was like just a bad year in general. And so she came into my life.
Bad year.
Yeah. She came into my life and just like made everything better. And like, I'll just never forget, because she was actually my roommate's old dog, but I'll never forget the day that she came over when my roommate was leaving town, and I watched her, just me and her, the first time. And I hadn't seen her in a while because my roommate had moved in with her partner. And so they came over to visit, and I was going to watch her while she was gone. And then she like ran up to the door and had her cute little face like up there and stuff. And I just remember that was like the first time I fell in love with a dog, I think. So without Judy, there's nothing to be thankful for. So, I would say Judy is the thing I'm most thankful for. Thankful for having a job, because I didn't have one for almost a year. And, you know, that's the result of a lot of that. I got that result from roughing it out, from doing freelance work for so long. And I literally was working for like $5 a gig. And I went from that into getting a full-time job in a couple of years. And all of this is because of not drinking, which is the number one thing I'm grateful for all the time. And then the last thing I'm grateful for is the horror community, because without them, nothing would also have happened. I mean, it was not only was it an outlet for the creativity, but it was connection with people that I needed at a time that I strongly needed it, and a very strong support system that is like immediate. For some reason, they're just very supportive and very welcoming, and even whenever you think you don't deserve it, they're there to support you, and so they show you true love. If you can find your people there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. The horror fans get bad reps from non-horror people, and they're actually like the kindest people.
Yeah, what do they know?
Yeah. They're like, you're just watching people get cut up on TV.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we're with our friends doing it though.
Yeah. We're dispelling myths about the horror community. Go check out my channel, Bitter Wolf Horror and Hijinks, where I talk about the horror, where we have the horror mosaic, and we talk about dispelling those myths, where we tell you that we're real people and we have a lot of different interests.
Mm-hmm. Do you have, I know you said you didn't really listen to podcasts and stuff, but do you have any podcast or Quitlet books or anything like recommendations, or you didn't really dive into those?
No, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Like my experience was fully roughing it out and talking to other people one-on-one type thing, and listening to people just like here or there, but I don't have any consistency, so I can't make a good recommendation other than Sam's Sober Socials, of course.
There we go. A great channel recommendation.
Exactly.
What is a piece of advice you would give to someone that is in early sobriety? This is the last question.
Yeah, I mean, let yourself feel everything and be okay with that. Practical, because that's kind of a cerebral thing. A practical tip for me that worked for me was doing meditation. I didn't even talk about this at all on the thing, but I did meditation because I don't do it as consistently now, but I still do it. And I even do ASMR things almost every night, actually. But the meditation aspect is more sporadic now. But in the early days, it really helped. And what it helps you do is figure out how to refine your focus or pay attention to something, anything, including pain. And that was the first time whenever someone told me, you can focus on pain and you can feel it, and you can just notice it without judgment. And I think that was an important first step for me. So there you go.
Wow. Interesting. Did you meditate on your own, or did you have like a guided app or something, or just?
Yes, Waking Up. So that is an app I can strongly recommend. And I think that's a really popular one as well. And I'll say it can be very pricey. However, if you can't afford it, they would still want you to have access to it. So you can just send them an email and they should give you access to it.
Oh, cool. I haven't heard of that one. I use Insight Timer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll look that one up too.
Yeah, and there's a paid version and there's a free version, but I just started using it again, actually. But yeah, I've never heard of Waking Up. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's great. I'll send it to you. It's really good.
Cool.
And actually, you'll like it because the person's name is Sam.
Woo! The person that runs it?
Yeah, Sam Harris, I think is his name. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Would you look at that?
Yeah, exactly. But it's got great resources on there. A vast resource of guided meditations, essays, podcasts, like talks with people about different philosophical things. It's just a great resource. And if you do pay for it, it's well worth the money. If you don't pay for it, you get the exact same resources. So send them an email, seriously, if you can't. I think it was introduced to me like 4 years ago, and it changed my life. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. I'm definitely going to look into that. Are there any last thoughts about sobriety that you want to bring up before we head out, or you think you got everything out that you wanted to say?
I just want to say, I just have cliches. I mean, don't give up. It's just so cliche, but it's true because it's a hard thing. Like I said, I think it's real important to just let yourself feel things and be okay with it, because it's not going to get easier in terms of life. It will get easier in terms of you don't want to drink anymore physically, but whenever life hits you, that old instinct psychologically might come back, and you might be like, oh boy, you might trick yourself. So don't let yourself trick yourself and just stay the course. And if you can't, find a community somewhere, find someone to talk to. We'll talk to you. I'll talk to you any hour of the day, but just find someone to talk to and get through it.
Yeah. Love it. I will put your channel in the description, obviously. So if anyone is a horror fan, they can follow you, subscribe, and
sure. And even if not, you can send me a message. That's fine.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for coming on. You're my first guest.
Yay! Thank you, Sam.
And congrats on 2 years coming up.
Yay! Thank you so much, and congrats to you on 1 year. I'm so happy that our anniversaries are so close together too, so that we could bring in your new channel right around some good milestones. And congratulations to you on your channel.
Thank you. Yeah, I know it's actually kind of cool how they're super close. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, and thank you to anyone that was listening. And like the video, subscribe, all that jazz. And here is to another 24 hours sober.